Very interesting energies right now. There is a lot going on in the universe, and I will explain this to you in this video. But let's start first with what is going on. We had on July 26th changing the North Nodes from Pisces into Aquarius. And this is a really big shift for the next coming 18 months. And you will notice that the energies are going to be quicker. When the North Node was in the sign of Pisces, we noticed these energies were much slower. So this is a really big shift on the collective, but that's not all, people, because on July 26th, Saturn was also going retrograde in the sign of Aries. And especially a couple of days later, we have this very special full moon in the sign of Aquarius, and he is really special and really intense. And I will explain to you what is going on. First of all, we have this full moon in conjunction with the Lord of the Underworld, it's Pluto, and also, and this is really interesting, this full moon is making also a conjunction with Juno retrograde. And Juno is an asteroid. She is in between Mars and Jupiter. And in mythology, she is really a protector. She wants to protect her husband, her family, her children. And this is making it really interesting because in this full moon, her husband is totally in opposite with Juno. This is Jupiter. Jupiter is in conjunction with the Sun, and both are in the sign of Leo. So this means that we are stuck in these energies because it's a fixed sign, of course. And what I can say is we will experience a lot of pressures on relationships and also friendships. But I will explain this to you in this video, so stick with me till the end. But before I continue, I have to introduce myself. I am Desiree van Toor, Metaphysical astrologer and also independent researcher, and I do my research in combination with archaeology and also astronomy. So, I am from the Netherlands, so when my English is not that perfect, please forgive me. And like I said, stick with me and subscribe right now so you will be noticed when I come with new uploads. So let's continue. I make a horoscope for you because from experience, I know I have also a YouTube channel in the Dutch-speaking countries and also in the German-speaking countries. And from experience, I know everyone wants to know where I get my information from. So this is the reason that I draw this horoscope. And the first thing, what we are seeing here is, of course, the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. And like I said, she is making a conjunction with Pluto. So we are going deep, deep into the psyche. And Juno is retrograde. Juno, let's put it this way. Every planet, what is going retrograde, it forces you to go inside and ask yourself critical questions. And she wants to connect with in relationships and with friendships, and she wants to protect everything, and she will protect even when she's doing herself short. Um, what is going on right now, because she is in opposite with her husband, and her husband is in conjunction with the Sun, it's of course Jupiter. And Jupiter in mythology, in astrology, he is really bright and really positive and expansive. And the most of the time they will say Jupiter brings you a lot of luck. But in this case, in this mythology, it doesn't, because Jupiter cheated really badly on Juno. And this is what is happening right now. Juno is asking herself, is this the way that I want to continue with my friendship or my relationship? So this is the energy that you are really feeling on the inside right now. And probably you notice that you draw more inwardly the last couple of weeks, because this is her energy. And then you probably started to ask yourself, okay, do I want this like this? And when you do not want it anymore, you are thinking to walk out of it, or just disconnect from this friendship or relationship. But in the same time, you will start feeling a lot of guilt, you know. And so these are the energies who are really pushing and pulling on the inside in your probably unconscious. Uh, um, but this is not all, because in the same time we have like this tension between Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars are normally the cosmic lovers, but also they are in a lot of pressure right now. It's a square. And well, Venus doesn't feel really happy in the sign of Virgo. She is really in detail, analytic, and she wants to do everything really perfect. Mars is actually in the sign of Gemini, really the opposite. Because in Gemini, Mars wants to play and wants to travel and wants to have fun. So Venus is actually too serious right now, and it's a very mental energy. So it could be that you're feeling on the inside that you will be drawn one time into the freedom, just go your own way and celebrate and have fun, or in the other way that you start thinking and that you want to be perfect and you want to have a perfect relationship. So with this full moon, all this tension will come into the conscience. And at the same time, actually, when the North nodes were shifting, the North node was shifting, on July 26th, we saw also that Saturn was going retrograde in the sign of Aries. So what does this mean? When Saturn is going retrograde, we can imagine it's like the boss is leaving the building. So you have to find your own answers, and there's nothing in and around you where you can hold on to for answers. So you have to go inwardly. And Aries is, of course, an energy who wants to go forward. But Saturn is making a blockage right now, because he is asking you also, you have this vision about your future. You want to go, but are you ready at this moment? So he's putting you on a break, and so that you have the time to think everything through. Then this Saturn is making a square with Mercury in the sign of Cancer. And we shouldn't forget Mercury is in the sign of Cancer. And actually, he was now just going direct. So the last weeks it was going retrograde in the sign of Cancer, and it gave us a chance to investigate our own emotions. And it's interesting because this was the same time that Jupiter was going last year in November. Also, it was standing on the same place in the sign of Cancer. And from that time on, probably you noticed that there were some unprocessed emotions that were bothering you over the whole year, and this is all coming into the conscience. But now, this time, maybe it can feel like you have been healed. So this is very positive, of course, but we shouldn't underestimate these energies. And like I said, most of the pressure will come into the relationships, because we shouldn't forget, like 10 years ago, we were totally different people. We are now shifting into the new age, and this means that we are start using more parts of the brain, and our reality is changing right now really fast. Then we shouldn't forget the last 2000 years we lived in repression, where we needed to obey, And we learned to just look out of ourselves, outside ourselves, to get recognition. And we needed to show that we loved people, to how should I say it, to not ask anything for ourselves. So we learned to just look out of ourselves and look for acknowledgement from other people. So these energies are really changing now over the years. So look just in your own life back. How were you like 5 or 10 years ago? The things that you thought at that time were normal, now you are thinking in another way. And please write it in the comments when you recognize this in your own life. It's very important to make these kind of comments because everyone can read it, and there are a lot of people who are really doubting about themselves, and this has also something to do with changing of the reality. The reality that we feel on the inside is a little bit different than what is happening around us. And because your environment will not change right away, it can be that you start doubting yourself, that you think, well, am I the only one who is seeing this? Am I the only one who is changing? So this is very, very important. So anyway, Mercury is now going direct. Saturn is going retrograde. And what is so interesting is we can see both sides of the story. Because before, when Saturn was going direct and Mercury was going in retrograde, we had the opposite energies. So it's very interesting. What can I say more? I don't know. There's a lot more information, so I would suggest subscribe to my channel. And in time, my English will be much better. So forgive me when it's going not that fluent right now. Anyway, just subscribe and do not forget to like and hype. And I see you the next time. Till then.